Hey, Intuitive Soul Tribe. Melissa, Intuitive Soul Coach here, excited to bring to you today's reading where we dive into blocks and limitations. Welcome back to my channel if you are returning, and welcome if you are new. These are general readings. Please do take what resonates and leave the rest behind. If you are interested in a personal reading or entering into the free monthly reading giveaway, you can find both of those links in the description box below. All right, so those of you that are new, every Saturday I put out a collective reading for all. I sit in meditation with spirit and I say, okay, what does the collective need to know? What does the intuitive soul tribe, what can they benefit from? And immediately upon putting myself in this energy and this vibration, I heard limitations and blocks because of change, because of uncertainty, because of shifts that are going on around the world, but also how it can impact and interfere with one's personal life as well when it comes to money blocks. Blocks within career, blocks within relationships, even health blocks as well, and limitations. So today we'll take a look at how we can overcome some of those blocks that may show up for you. Also, we'll take a look at messages from spirit, from your guides, from your ancestors, from loved ones who've crossed over, and see what additional messages and guidance are coming in to help you navigate through some of those subconscious patterns or beliefs or blocks that you have that are hindering you from achieving some sort of milestone, success, or goal that you have for yourself on a personal or professional level. So right away here, Spirit's actually highlighting this card first and foremost. So I was told not to shuffle, and this is why, because right away here, it says, from whom can I release my judgment right now? Judgment is one of the lowest frequencies, right? Judgment is something that we tend to do all too well at times. We tend to judge people on social media. We tend to judge the way they parent, the way they look, the way they dress, the tattoos they have, their ethnicity, their background, what they do for a living, where they live, what they drive. It is ingrained upon us to have judgments, right? It's part of this human experience of duality, right? But judgment actually closes our heart to truth, and it separates us from connection. It separates us from love. So a big piece of the blocks, a big piece of the limits that hold you back, hold us back as a society, are judgments, right? This is about breaking free from this, and we're going to talk about how you can do so. Now, first of all, I want you to know that if you have judged, which we all have at one point or another, right? We do live in a societal standard. We live in society that does tend to point fingers at times. So if your first initial response or reaction lies within a limiting belief, then don't be too harsh on yourself. The key is to have awareness, because when you have awareness of what you're doing, you can change it, you can shift it. So judgment closes our heart to truth and separates us from love. It binds us to our fear and holds us in shame. On whom are you placing judgment right now? Is it someone in your life? Is it yourself? Release the shackles, drop the expectations, and be grateful for what is. So a lot of times we unknowingly attach judgment to relationships. We may judge a person for what they do or do not do, right? We may judge people within our career path, our line of work. We may have jealousy. We may have fears. We may judge that they're not doing enough. They're slacking. Now, of course, there's going to be different thoughts, and you may be saying, well, Melissa, how do I know if I am judging a person versus it's just something I am aware of, right? Because judgment's going to leave you feeling exhausted, and it can actually form an addiction. I work with many clients who have this energy of judgment, and it lowers their frequencies. It blocks them from achieving their success in their relationships or within their career, or again, within their own health, because it's something that they may be hanging on to. Maybe their own mother judged them growing up. Perhaps there was a teacher that judged them, the way they worked, the way they wrote, the way that they drew or rode a bike, right? Maybe they said, oh, you're left-handed, that's silly, or you have autism, you have ADHD. You have these labels that we tend to label and judge others. Look at the person you are judging as if you are looking at a small child. See them learning and growing, falling down and making mistakes. See their desire to be loved and accepted. Add even more grace to open your heart to this truth. If you judge yourself, sometimes you say things to yourself like, oh gosh, I'm judging myself for eating this cupcake. I shouldn't have eaten that cupcake. You get really hard on yourself. You've tried to diet, you've tried to lose weight, and then you judge yourself as a bad person, or you're not able to achieve goals because you ate that cupcake, right? You may judge yourself for the way you look. You may judge yourself for your education. We live in a dualistic world where there is judgments, of course, but when we are constantly repeating these patterns of judging every single thing, instead of being the bystander, instead of having neutrality versus duality, right? When we're able to see it, that's when we're able to become aware of the judgments around us, but we can let it flow instead of attaching some sort of shame, bitterness, jealousy, resentment to it, because that's what holds us back. So if you are judging yourself at this moment, maybe you're saying, I'm not skinny enough. I'm not pretty enough. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have what they have. I don't have the home, the family, right? I'm not living a good life, or I don't have the children that this person has. My children don't talk to me, or I have these health issues. Whatever judgments you have, it's time to release. It is time to release. How do you do that? When you lift the judgment from yourself and others, how you do it is becoming aware, right? Becoming aware and then shifting into that awareness and saying, okay, I just judged the situation, but I can release this judgment and I can love, right? I can open my heart up to realizing that that person is no better than myself, right? I am no better than that person. We are equal. We are vibrating at this energetic level, and some of us have little baby souls and some of us are more advanced on our journey, and it doesn't mean that anyone is better or worse off. It's all part of the experience, the human experience that your soul and their soul chose to incarnate and have in this lifetime. So there is no need to attach judgments to the way we do things, the way we see things, to others, right? We don't have to be one that immediately puts out that, that shame. We don't need to shame someone on social media when they are putting up something they are excited about. We don't have to let those jealousies, insecurities, and fears bubble up, or we have to write a nasty comments, right? And they don't have to do that to us. And if they do, we don't have to take it personally, because we realize that when people judge, it's really they're judging themselves. And it's an inner child healing, and it could be wounding based on a long time ago or something that has become an addiction, because again, that devil energy can be tied to judgment. And it says, when you lift the judgment from yourself and others, you uncover your own truth. What is your truth? This is something I recommend you jot down. Post it on a sticky note, stick it on your mirror, stick it on your refrigerator, your visor, put it in your phone, set an alarm so it goes off and you remind yourself each and every day until the point it annoys you, right? This is saying here, the manifestation is, I uncover my own truth. I am loved. I am whole. I am limitless. I'm going to repeat that. I am loved. I am whole. I am limitless. And so are they. Next time you feel the need to judge someone, remind yourself of that mantra. I am loved, I am whole, and I am limitless, and so are they, right? Because this can hold you back from manifesting the relationship that you want with that perfect partner, including the partnerships that you are currently in. It doesn't have to just be intimate. It could be the relationship you have with your own child, or with your own parents or siblings or coworkers or friends or spouse, right? We judge. We are so quick to judge a situation without understanding, right? And actually, they're highlighting this next card as well. I promise I will shuffle and we'll pull some new ones, but this may clarify a piece of this judgment is what I'm hearing here. So I'm hearing clarifier. What else could this mean? That's the question to ask yourself. There are always multiple ways to look at every situation. Our first reaction, which we were just talking about, our first reaction is usually rooted in our fears and limiting beliefs. So yes, our first reaction may be to judge, because maybe your mom was a judger, your dad was, right? Maybe someone around you tend to really be a hypocrite or judge, or maybe even I'm getting someone, I don't throw this word out there often. You probably don't hear me say it, but narcissist, right? Some of you may have been in a very narcissistic relationship, or maybe you've been called a narcissist yourself. This is here about looking at a situation today by stepping outside of the trigger and ask, what else could this mean? Right? Why am I judging this person? Why am I feeling triggered that they called me a name, right? Why am I triggering myself even by judging that I ate this cupcake, or that I don't have the kind of car that my neighbor has, or the house, right? Or the children. I don't have everything that this person does. Is there something in your soul that is calling you to learn in this moment? Or is there a pattern, which it could be the pattern of judgment, right? Of resentment, of shame. Is there a pattern that is ready to be broken? Because that can bring in a brand new energy. It can bring in an energy where we can align more with our soul's purpose, with what we want to manifest. Walk in the other person's footsteps, in their shoes, and see it from their perspective. If it doesn't involve someone else, ask yourself, how is life happening for you right now? And some of you may be saying, but Melissa, this was done upon me. Hurt people. Excuse me. So I do feel that some of you have been bullied, which can lead to you bullying other people, right? Or other people bully you, and it's because they've been bullied. I feel like you're becoming aware of what's going on. And when you heal the world. So when you heal the patterns here, whether it's your patterns, whether it's someone around you, by not reacting, maybe not responding, giving them what they want to see, because that in itself can be an addiction, where we tend to respond to the way someone projects their energy onto us, and that can feed a cycle, a never-ending cycle, and it can create instability. It can create unhealthy, toxic relationships. It can create a lack of flow, and it can create a block and a limitation when it comes to you manifesting what it is that you want in your life. So let's see what else we have here for you right away. We have, oh gosh, speaking of limiting beliefs and blocks, what is the most limiting belief that is keeping you from what you want right now? What is the most limiting belief keeping you from what you want right now? What story are you telling yourself? This is that Eight of Swords energy, where you're constantly in your head spinning a story that's not even true, right? Let's say your significant other doesn't call you for 3 hours and they were supposed to be home, and it starts to get to worry, but then you start letting everything creep in and you say, oh my gosh, maybe they're cheating on me, or maybe they're at the office with their assistant, or maybe they're going to do this because that's what my dad did to my mom, or that's what my ex person did. And then we start telling ourselves a story that doesn't even exist, right? And it's based on a limiting belief, because that's what our fears are. Remember, rooted in our first response can be something that's rooted in our limiting beliefs. And then we spin a story. And then by the time that spouse comes home, right? Let's say it's 7 o'clock and you've been waiting for them to respond, and you open the door and they are all smiling and they're excited and happy to see you. And you want to just push right through them. You want to just, smack them across the face, because you're so built with this rage and this jealousy and this fear and the limitations. You think that they're out doing something, but perhaps they were out buying you an anniversary present, and they left their phone in their vehicle, and they wanted to surprise you, and they came home with a cake and with, a nice surprise. That is judgment, for one. We're judging a person for what we do not know. We are not asking, what else could this mean? Of course, yes, there are scenarios and situations, beautiful soul, where maybe that is happening. But until it happens, until you have some sort of, now I don't want to say concrete evidence, because that would go against listening to your intuition, but there's a difference between judgments and there's a difference between intuition. Make sure that you dive into what is what for you, okay? Because intuition is going to be that soft, subtle energy that doesn't create panic, that doesn't create fear, that doesn't make up lies, that doesn't make up stories, that doesn't judge based on a limiting belief. So I want you to ask yourself, what limiting belief is keeping you from what you want? When you think about your dreams, what is the first limiting thought that comes to your mind? Is it, I don't have a babysitter, I don't have enough money, Everyone else is doing that. The market is so saturated, I'll never climb above. Perhaps it's women can't rise above in this line of work. They can't do it because that is a man's job, right? Perhaps the limiting belief is you were raised in a certain way or a certain background, a certain tradition. Therefore, you cannot climb above. You cannot go your own path. These are illusions that were impressed upon us from a very, very early age, and even, lifetimes. It can be generational. If you are not living the life you desire, it's because a part of you doesn't believe it's possible. It's time to look that fear or that belief in the eye. It's time to upgrade. Where did it come from? That's where I want you to ask, what else could this mean? Where did that belief come from, right? What new belief are you ready to adopt in its place? Maybe you are saying, I will be the first one in my family to have a business. I will be the first one to graduate. I will be the first entrepreneur that hits 1 million, become a millionaire, right? I will be the first one in the family to maybe not have children, and that's okay too, right? Let those limiting beliefs succumb. Let them drop to the wayside. Let them bulldoze right through them, look them in the eye, and upgrade those beliefs, because they're not helping you. If anything, they're limiting you and blocking you. How will this change your results? If you believed in your gifts and your skills, so here is an example, a limiting belief. I don't have a spiritual gift. I'm not intuitive. I'm not clairvoyant. I'm not empathic. I don't have this clear sense of knowing. I don't have any gifts. Everyone else has gifts but me. What's happening there is you fall into a victim mentality, right? You hold yourself accountable. That's the importance. That's the awareness. Of course, we all have gifts. We all have gifts that we chose to incarnate into this lifetime with. The limiting belief for you is, I don't have gifts. My grandfather had a gift, or my grandmother and my grandma and my sister, but I'm the one who doesn't have this gift, right? What if you were to see what else this could mean, right? What if you have a gift that is completely, maybe it's different from everyone else, or maybe there is a block underneath it all. Maybe you seen other people getting praised in your family. Maybe you've seen your sister praised for her gifts, and you have deep down a limiting belief that there's resentment, there's bitterness, and you may have that, excuse me, tied to your own energy, that if you embrace your gifts, that other people are going to resent you, right? So really take a look at where it came from. Take a look at why you have it. Is it even true, or is it an illusion? Because those limiting beliefs can hold you back, because I can guarantee, beautiful soul, that you have a gift. We all do. Let's take a look and see what else we have showing up here for you. What else do we have? All right. Thank you, Spirit. Blocks and limitations. What do we have for blocks and limitations? Am I clear on what my soul really wants? This is a big one. A lot of times we don't feel clear. We don't have clarity. Why? Because it goes back to this disconnect. We feel disconnected because sometimes we are on autopilot. Sometimes we have a routine, right? We're not clear on what that path is because maybe we have children to raise, or we have, an ill parent that we have to look after. Perhaps you are in a career where you have to pay the bills and you don't really know what it is that you want because you don't give or allow yourself time just to sit with you. Sit in meditation, sit in silence, sit with your soul. And sometimes we hang on to what other people expect, expectations, right? That can be another big one that blocks us from achieving our dreams. And it says, take out the shoulds and the limitations. Get out of your head and pay attention to your heart's desires. Yes, it's wonderful to have that logical, analytical mind, but sometimes it can be a joy kill, right? It can bring in over-analyzing. It can be too logical, where we think that we only have one way of doing something and that's the only way, right? When we open ourselves up and we drop down to our heart center, when we live and lead with the heart and we say, what is it that brings my soul happiness? Is it taking care of others? Is it being of service? Is it helping pets? Is it raising children? Right? Is it being a stay-at-home dad? Whatever it is for you, there is no right or wrong. There's no good or bad or better than or worse than, right? It's your soul journey. And if you are not living it, remember, you may not be believing that it is something that is part of your soul path. It says, if you knew it was impossible to fail, what would you do? Wherever you go, go with all your heart. When you ask a child what it is that they want to be when they grow up, they immediately say, I want to be an astronaut, right? I want to be a ballerina. I want to be an actor. I want to be a veterinarian. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a mommy, right? All of those things, they don't even have to second guess because they don't have those limiting beliefs and those fears telling them that they cannot be those things, right? If you were to see through the eyes of your inner child, right? What is it that you want to do? Who is it that you want to become? Because I can guarantee that that's part of your soul path. Allow yourself that freedom, that joy, that magic, that enthusiasm to get clear on what it is that you want to do and take a step towards that. And if some of you are saying, Melissa, it's so much easier said than done, I get that. But if you make excuses, you don't want it bad enough. And I'm not saying that to be blunt or hurt feelings, but I'm going to give you an example. I worked a 9-to-5 job in the past, a career that paid the bills, right? I raised a family on my own. I had to take care of everything myself. I didn't have these people to rely on or those people to rely on. Heck, I didn't even have family to rely on. But I also had a dream. Right? I had a dream of opening a holistic retreat center. I had a dream of being of service. So even though I had all of those responsibilities, I put in the energy and the effort, even if it was an hour at night, right? When I was supposed to be doing other things, whether it was taking care of responsibilities, I would fit everything in because we do that. We can multitask. We can set ourselves up for success by going in a direction of something we want to manifest, even if it's baby steps. And I rented out this room very, very early on, and I would see clients at night and I would do my readings. And back then, even now when I'm at the office, I don't use cards. I don't use tarot. This is something completely added on for YouTube to reach people on a different level. But I would see them at night, and it was still my dream to work with people and be a healer and give, intuitive guidance to those. And even though that was not my day job at all, and even though I had small children to raise and I had this life of responsibility and I did it myself, that was my dream, and I chose to not give up, right? And I chose to work at it, little bits and pieces every single day. So when you get clear on what that is, work on it, even if it's little bits and pieces every single day. Because if you tell yourself the excuse of, I don't have enough time, I can't make this work, I have children, I have a family, those are excuses because you may not want it bad enough. And I am here to tell you, beautiful souls, that if you want this, if your soul believes in this so much, you will make this happen. And I had to go through those challenges because it made me appreciate and love it even more now that I'm able to do this full time, right? This is my full-time job, here with you beautiful souls in my office and being able to, create decks and do what it is that I love. But we need to do what we need to do to survive, take care of family, things of that nature. So if you have any limiting beliefs that are holding you back, look them in the eye, get clear on what you want, and make a decision, even if it's a baby step towards it, because I can guarantee that 2 years from now, those baby steps will amount to something greater, and you too will start to see that evidence in your life. Now let's take a look here and see what else is showing up for you. What else do we have here? Okay, gratitude is such a big thing, and I can't emphasize this enough. I actually make this a daily routine when I eat dinner with my family. We do what's called the peek in the pit, and 3 things we're grateful for. And it says here, what am I grateful for right now? And it's important for you to put out that energy into the universe, even the things that sometimes you take for granted, right? Adopt an abundant mindset. Because sometimes we tell ourselves we're broke, right? I'm broke. I don't have enough money. I can't pay the bills. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. Or I don't have this, right? Or there's an expectation. There's expectations here where you expect there to be maybe food on the table, or you expect that your bills will be paid, whatever it is here. And then we expect to have a bed to sleep in each night. But at any given moment, those things can change. They're external, right? And this is about you adopting that abundant mindset. Gratitude is the antidote to all of our problems. It is impossible to be fearful. I'm going to repeat that. It is impossible to be fearful and grateful at the same time. Now, some of you are saying, Melissa, I just said my gratitude, but I'm still fearful of this money. When you adopt that energy, adopt that mindset, I can guarantee that gratitude will win out every time over fear. It is impossible to be fearful and grateful at the same time. Gratitude improves our health. It opens our heart and changes our state. It changes our frequency. When we are grateful for even the challenges, even the triggers, even that monster-in-law that we had to deal with, right? Even that challenging kid that was difficult on the school bus growing up, even that teacher who drove us to be the best we could, who harped on us, right? Who gave us attention, right? Even that parent who was strict and that was hard on you. There is gratitude in all of life's challenges and all of life's pleasures, right? We can be grateful for all of them because it's part of the human experience. The universal law of attraction says that what we attract into our lives is that which on what we are focused on. And that kind of goes hand in hand with, are you clear on what you really want on your path? Because when you are clear on what you want, you can manifest it and be grateful for it. I'm grateful for money. I'm grateful that it allows me to have a bed to sleep in, a house, bills to pay. You know, I'm grateful that I have food on my back. Why do you think when you go to my website, part of entering into the free monthly reading giveaway, if you go to intuitivesoulcoach.com and click on the freebie section, it says, what are you grateful for? That will enter you into that free reading giveaway, along with other ways. If you watch my videos, you'll know how. But that is a big piece of taking a look at what it is that you're grateful for. And I've rarely ever had, out of thousands and thousands of responses through that website, I've rarely ever had someone say, I'm not grateful for anything. Mostly it's, I'm grateful for the lessons. I'm grateful for the challenges. I'm grateful for that setback, right? Because these are the moments that we grow, that we open our heart. It breaks wide open, right? I'm grateful that that happened to me because it helped me appreciate what I have. I'm grateful that this challenging relationship I had to go through this experience to get to the other side, because it brings us a sense of accomplishment, right? We've accomplished a lesson that we chose, or an experience to have here on earth. So when you are grateful for all of those things, not just the good things, I'm not just grateful for, food and a warm bed and, sunny weather, whatever you may be grateful for. I have a gratitude journal that I write in every day, along with sharing what I'm grateful for with my family. And sometimes, it can feel repetitive, especially for younger children, but it really gets them in the vibration of thinking beyond, thinking aside. And some of the things that children can come up with are funny, are humorous, especially as they age and they become teenagers. And it's something that I'll still incorporate when my children are adults, right? Because we always have this energy of gratitude. So I challenge you right now, beautiful soul, to say out loud, or even in the comment section. I'd love to hear it. Let's focus on more abundance, more gratitude. What are 3 things that you are grateful for today? All right, there, you can bypass going to the website and entering into that free monthly reading giveaway. If you want to enter into that, just drop 3 things that you are grateful for in the comment box below. All right, let's get one more before we get to your messages. Whoa, okay. Spirit saying, no, you ain't done yet. This is going to be a long reading. Okay, please take that as it resonates. But let's take a look here. Okay, what do we need to know here, Spirit? What do we need to focus on? Okay, risks. That's another thing. So many of us hold back. We're afraid to take that leap, just like that fool's journey, right? We're afraid to take that leap because what if it fails? What if we put all of our time and our energy and our investments into that YouTube channel and it doesn't succeed, right? When I first started this YouTube channel, I did not know how to read tarot, right? I'll have to share my story someday, but the way that Spirit showed it to me was absolutely amazing. I didn't even know people read tarot on YouTube. I never even really utilized the energy of YouTube much. And I had stumbled across it. Short story here, long story turned short. But I was told by Spirit that that is what you will be doing. And I kind of chuckled and said, Spirit, I don't use cards. You know, I don't use tarot. I have decks. I love using them on myself or friends, but, I don't personally use them. And Spirit said, you're going to learn how. And I said, oh, I have learned to not question, Spirit, but to question, of course, certain things, but to go with the flow, because if it's meant for me, then I'm gonna move forward on the path. And I said, okay, and when am I gonna learn this? When am I gonna start a YouTube channel? And I heard 1 month from now. And I chuckled and I said, Spirit, you can't learn tarot in 1 month. I don't even know how to start a channel. I don't even know what the heck I'm doing here. And lo and behold, exactly 1 month from that date, I put out my first video. And here, almost, let's see, April will be 2 years. April 15th will be 2 years from when I first posted my first video. And that is all about taking a risk. You know, if I wouldn't have taken that risk, if I would have shut down that channeled message, if I would have said to myself, I don't know tarot, I cannot learn it, I dove in head over feet. Really, I dove in and I learned everything I could. And I'm still learning as we go, because if we are to wait for the perfect timing, if we are to wait until we know every piece of information before we make a next step, we could be waiting a lifetime, right? This is about you taking a risk beyond. This is about you opening yourself up. Be not mistaken, beautifuls. You will have to take the biggest risk that you ever thought possible on this path towards your dreams. And it was one of the biggest risks that I've ever taken, but it paid off in big ways. And I didn't expect anything in return. But gosh, the comments that was my wealth. That is my wealth. That's my emotional, wealth coming in from doing what it is that I love to do. But the biggest wealth that comes from it is from hearing the outpour of the comments that come from you beautiful intuitive souls, right? This is about you taking your own risk when it comes to your life, taking a risk to fall in love, taking a risk to open that business, taking a risk on yourself, because you will have to take the big scary leap, but do not fret, because your soul has wings. So ask yourself, what risk can you take to move towards your dreams? Make a decision and do it. No more thinking, only doing. Remember what we talked about, that analytical, logical mind can get in the way and it can start to spin a story. What if I fail? If I would have let that logical mind, and I'm a Libra, I'm an air sign. So sometimes, especially in the past, I could get up in my head and let those fears creep in. Well, what if I don't know what I'm doing? Right? What if I don't have 1 subscriber? What if I don't succeed? But I didn't let those fears come in, and I took a risk and I put my heart and soul into it, right? And this is about you putting your heart and soul into a situation, making those dreams come true, taking a step closer. No more thinking, only doing. Be brave and courageous, and you will discover what you are really made of. And this is actually enhanced even more, where not that I thought I was capped or limited, but it's opened up a whole new doorway of opportunities that I didn't have prior, because I took that risk. And that's important. And some of you need to hear that as well, because you may be teetering on the edge of a brilliant new plan or a brilliant new discovery. Take that risk. Am I focused on what I am losing or gaining? Can we say 5 of Cups energy, right? Sometimes we focus on the cups that we've lost. Sometimes we focus on the past so much that it interferes with our present energy, with our today, even with our tomorrow, right? Sometimes we focus on that loss, especially when we go through change. Are you scared to let go because of what you might lose? What if you shifted your focus from what you might lose to what you might gain? Endings are actually new beginnings. I personally love to see the 10s and the Fool and the Aces show up in readings, because it means that there's an ending that's bringing a new beginning. And even though some of these endings are bittersweet, some of them are difficult, some of them are a job loss, some of them are a physical, emotional loss, or it could be a loss of a relationship, a loss of a loved one. It doesn't mean that I want those things and crave them to come in every single time, but I know that those are some powerful, powerful opportunities for growth, for us to see things from a different perspective and ask, what else could this mean? Right? Ask, what else could this mean? And go with the flow of awareness instead of resistance. When we resist those things, that's when we start to really bring about the energies of fear and the lower frequencies, and things start to feel haywire, and we feel like we're losing control, losing our minds. Things are going crazy, right? But when you create that stability and that peace within yourself, it doesn't matter what shows up in the external, because you know and you trust that you will be okay. So make a list of all the things that you will gain from going through the change. For those of you, if you're like me, I love pros and cons lists. I love bullet points. I love little checklists in the gratitude journal, right? Here's a little list. I'm going to check it. So if you are a list maker like I am, you can write a pros and cons list, right? You can even create a list of the change that you're going through. And I want you to feel your heart. Put your hand over your heart, take a deep breath, and deepen into trust, because amazing things are coming from this change. Even if you can't always see it right in the moment, make a list of all the things that you are going to gain from going through the change, going through the challenge even. Let's say that you've lost your job. And you can only think of the cons, right? I'm not going to have enough money. Worst case scenario, I'm not going to have a house to live in. I'm going to be living under a bridge. I'm going to die, right? Those are pretty extreme, of course, but I know how minds can work and they can get the best of us. But what if this was an opportunity for you to open your own business, or work for a company that truly valued you, or for you to move in a direction where you could use your creative skills? What if this was an opportunity for you to spread your wings where maybe your wings were clipped in your current position? I want you to take a look at the flip side of it, because when we adapt that mindset of gratitude, when we can be grateful for those things, that's when that game changes. So focus on the gain versus the loss. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not aware of what the loss means for you. Now, by all means, you're going to be aware that, yes, you may be feeling a little bit stuck. You may be short or strapped on cash. It may take a little bit of time to get to this new position. But when you are open to the gains, that can help you manifest quicker, especially when there's a block coming in and you've been looking and looking and looking and looking, and still you're finding up where you're at square one, back at square one, back at square one. Are you focusing too much on the loss? What else do we have here, Spirit? Does your room, oh gosh, some of you have maybe a pleasure room, but this says here, does my life have room for more pleasure and play, right? This is about you not taking life so seriously. And I see this happening so much, where people don't allow themselves time to just play, time to bring out that inner child. They focus on the seriousness that life offers so often that they forget that this life is like a playground, right? This is a playground for us to grow, for us to fall off the handlebars, for us to climb to the top, for us to make new friends and bypass old ones, right? This is an opportunity for us to love, to get our heart broken, for us to marry and divorce and experience loss and experience challenges. This is a playground, and it offers many, many, many different scenarios, many different games, many different energies. But the most important thing is to remember that it is a playground. It is a playground for pleasure and play. And you don't have to stay stuck in that energy of, watching everybody else play Foursquare, or watching everybody else swing on the swings and have fun, and you are left out. You're sitting there by yourself. And if you are by yourself on that bench waiting for someone to come up to you and ask you to play, I suggest you make that first move and go ask someone else to play jump rope, right? Go ask someone to join in on their game, because I can guarantee that before you know it, you will be grateful that you are playing that soccer game over here instead of sitting at the bench on your own feeling sorry for yourself. Okay, and I say this with so much love in my heart because this is about you getting out there and having fun. And I hope you're following me with my descriptive energy there. In what area are you lacking pleasure right now? Maybe in certain relationships or with work. Is it possible to shift the seriousness of life to experiencing a more creative, wild, and playful side of you? Today's soul action. What would happen if you added more play and laughter into your life? What area is lacking this right now? Take time to play. Let go of any need to constantly feel like we have to produce something, right? We have to work, and play, right? Do we have to work our whole lives before we retire and then we're too exhausted where we can't enjoy our retirement? Do we have to work multiple jobs just to have one day a week come in and that's where we have to, enjoy our day, but we're so exhausted we just sleep? That's not what this life is meant for. And if some of you are saying, oh, but Melissa, remember that but right there, that hesitation, there's resistance there. There's a limiting belief. You owe it to yourself to see what you're made of, to see what life you can have for yourself, right? You have what it takes. We have here, am I on the right path? If you are watching this video right now, I can guarantee that you are on the right path because you wouldn't be questioning, you wouldn't be asking. Some of you, your soul just needs a little guidance, a little bit of a push. Sometimes we second guess. That is a big block, second guessing. We second guess what we're doing and we lose trust in the process and we question if we are even on the right path at all. Know this, that you are on the right path. Keep going, keep believing, keep remembering that you made a soul contract that you are currently fulfilling in every area of your life. Even if you can't see it, beautiful souls, that doesn't mean that it's not real. Some of you may be saying, well, I'm not on my path. I hate this job. I'm not on my path. I hate this relationship. I'm not on my path. My children hate me. This is about your human experience. And some of them aren't always, rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes they are life lessons that can bring about deep emotions, deep healing, deep change, deep transformation. Today's soul action. Search for all the ways you are aligned with your soul's purpose. The signs will appear. Let this newfound trust fuel your next steps. Trust is a huge, huge block. It's one of the top 3, I would say. It is a limiting energy that limits us, holds us back. We fear. We don't have trust in people or in the universe or in ourselves to make the decisions that are in our highest good, right? But you have everything you need within you. You don't necessarily have to be watching these videos to point you in the direction. I mean, I appreciate that you do, but everything you need is within you. And I say this to every single client that comes to my office as well. Of course, I love to see you and I want you in my office, but I want to teach you the tools so you can go home and use them so you don't have to come see me all the time. Of course, I love your energy, but I want you to have the tools that you can believe in yourself and feel clear and get clear instead of looking outside of yourself. Because you are an intuitive, beautiful soul who came here equipped with what you need to do to move forward. Are you on the right path? Yes. Next we have here, how can I surrender even more in this moment? It is essential to have clear, strong inner intentions of what we desire, but it's equally important for us to detach from the outcome. It's time to surrender. Let the universe have some breathing room to work and let go of the wheel and trust so deeply that your trust turns into gratitude for what you cannot see, but you know is coming. Today's soul action. Know this, beautiful soul, so deeply that your soul vibrates. You are not alone. Your life has purpose, and the more you surrender, the more God can produce miracles in your life. Today's mantra, I surrender. I accept all that I cannot change. I release the outcome, and I joyfully trust the process. Beautiful. That's a big thing, is surrendering. I see the Hanged Man showing up so many times in the readings, and I'm sure you have as well, where when we can surrender, right? Surrender to that control, to the expectations. When we can become vulnerable and open ourselves up to a new way, that is the game changer. If I had a magic wand and could have anything I desired in life, what would it be? What would I choose? This is your final card, and I love this because this kind of breaks down. Yes, we've been talking about the blocks and limitations, but once you remove them, it comes to this point right here. Burn with desire. There is power in your desires. Let them be your fuel today. Your desires are your soul's wings, and it's time to take flight. Today's soul action, go inward. Your answers lie within. What do you desire? Choose what makes you happy and do that. Choose what makes you happy. Go in that direction. It doesn't mean that you're never going to have a challenge. You're never going to have a setback, that you'll never feel, a down moment in your life. But I can guarantee that if you make those baby steps, your life will be completely different in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years. And you will be more aligned with your soul purpose and soul path. But even if you feel stuck, doesn't mean you're not on that right path. All right, beautiful energy here. Now let's get a few messages here from your spiritual team. All right, beautiful soul. So we're going to take a look at the angel therapy and see what messages are coming in from the angels, how you can release some of those blocks and limitations when it comes to manifesting abundance, success, love, health, anything of that nature. Now, you have past life showing up here. The situation, it may have a past life connection. Sometimes that can hold us back. If you've heard of cell memory, if you have maybe in a past life gone through certain situations, it can be karmic cycles, patterns. Ask your angels to help you remember, release, learn, and heal from past experiences. Now, I'm getting here more so of soul tribe. Sometimes we feel like we absolutely need to be in a relationship, but it may be that we've experienced and been in a past life with someone, right? And it may look different in this lifetime, and that can be a block. That can be limiting you from opening your heart up to a new love connection, because you may feel tethered, you may feel bound to a specific person because you may have shared a past life with them. Same goes for family, blood family, or ancestral ties. We have parents showing up. So speaking of parents, this can be an energy at times that unfortunately it can block us to our true success here. Now, whether it is the way that you were brought up, it could be limiting beliefs that maybe your parents had and their parents had. It says the divine truth is that your parents eternally love you to the best of their ability. That is the secret. That is the key, to the best of their ability. The angels are helping you heal from any pain associated with your mother or father, and you being able to forgive your parents, whether one or the other or both, or maybe this is about you as well, forgiving and not judging your own parenting skills, because that can be a block that can limit you from having the type of relationship that you want, maybe even with your own children or with your parents. Or there could be something that maybe your dad said or did, or you may be attracting people that mirror a father or mirror a mother. Next we have here, vacuum away fear. Call upon Archangel Michael and Raphael to lift fear-based energy from you, your surroundings, this situation, and everyone involved. What do I always say about fear? False evidence appearing real. A lot of times the fear is our own limiting beliefs. That can be one of the biggest blocks there is. Top 3 for sure. Trust, fear. And it says here, yes, call upon those angels because they can help you lift fear, but also being able to see why you're feeling the fear. Is it based in a root reaction? Is it based on some sort of judgment? Is it legitimate fear of something that is going on that you do not feel like you have control over? That's where that trust piece comes in. Let's see what else we have from the angel therapy. What else do we have here? Goddess energy. Express your divine feminine energy, embracing its magical intuition and nurturing qualities. So many times we fail to be receptive. This goddess energy is about receptivity. It is about opening ourselves up to the energy of abundance. Now, it could be that we weren't mothered or nurtured ourselves, and it could be a subconscious block that we put out when it comes to receiving. For others of you, there's just an energy here of being the doer, being the independent one, being the one that takes care of everyone else, being the one that is putting yourself out there, but sometimes you don't get anything in return. When we can embrace the goddess energy within, now it doesn't matter if you're male or female, when we can embrace that energy of nurturing, think of Empress, right? She's the most abundant energy in tarot. When we think of that Empress, not only is she a goddess, she's creative, she's maternal, she can grow anything that she puts her desires on or puts her attention on, and what you focus on grows, right? That's the law of attraction. So if you can nurture yourself by trusting in your own intuition, right? Eliminating fears, vacuuming away fears, and embracing the abundance all around, that can help you move forward when it comes to any blocks and any limitations that hold you back. All right, let's get one more shuffle, please. One more shuffle. Thank you, Spirit. We have Visualize Success as your final card. I love that some of these go in a little bit deeper, but then the very final cards are more positive, such as the Magic Wand, Goddess Energy, and now we have Visualize Success. See yourself doing well in this situation and have faith in a positive outcome. Okay, when you visualize success, that's why vision boards are very important, because what we focus on grows, right? When we constantly feel successful in what it is that we're doing, right? Whether it is, in sports, there's so many athletes that visualize making that basket, right? Michael Jordan getting up there and boom, putting that ball in the basket each time. They visualize that. They see it before it happens. When you start to align with that energy, you too can visualize and manifest success. When you are able to see these things, act as if these things have already happened. They're already showing up for you. Visualize. You have that beautiful third eye for a reason. Utilize that energy. All right, let's see what messages are coming in from the Spirit Messages Oracle before we wrap up this reading. Very powerful. I certainly hope this is helping you on your path, and it may help you release some of those blocks and fears. If you're resonating, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button. And again, I would love to hear a few of those gratitudes of yours in the comment box below. And if you're vibing with this Intuitive Soul Tribe and you haven't already, feel free to hit that subscribe and bell button. All right, let's get one more shuffle here. What do we have? Thank you. Right away, you have nature. This is a big energy clear. Getting out in nature can help us connect to Mother Earth, connect to the universe, connect to ourselves even. And it says this is time to absorb the healing property that nature has to offer. Your mind, body, and soul need nourishment, energy, and revitalization, as well as strength. Nature has much to offer, so take this time to connect and spend quality time outdoors. That is a really big block that a lot of people don't even think of. But when you are stuffed away in an office, if you are stuffed away, at home or in a space that is limiting you, when you can get out in nature, it'll do a world of difference. Even if you work in an office environment, try to get out on your lunch break, go for a walk, eat your sandwich by, the park. When I used to work in the corporate world, I worked in a building that was right on a river. And even though I was stuck in this office environment all day, every single lunch break, I would make sure that I would take my lunch and I would go sit at this rock that was overlooking the river. And that would revitalize me. That would bring about a brand new sense of energy where I would go back feeling more refreshed, more revitalized. So the wonder of nature can do healing things to the body, the mind, and the soul. And when you feel lost, when you feel disconnected, get out in nature, because this can bring about a lot of shifts, and you may feel more connected than you ever will being in the confinements of a space, of a building, or of a location where you are not able to expand, grow, or you just need to step away for a little bit. You have cleanse, You have choices. You have synchronicity, and then your final card, new beginnings. New beginning to push through those blocks and limitations to move forward on a new path. So let's start with cleanse. Your body, mind, and soul are urging you to take time out for some much needed cleansing. Just as you wash your car, clean the house, or tidy your office, your body also has needs and care, and it needs attention, right? It's time for some spiritual, emotional, and physical cleansing. When we clutter our mind, when we clutter our cars and our homes with things, and we have trash laying everywhere, or we feel disheveled, disorganized, or we don't take care of our hygiene, things of that nature, it can be difficult to embrace this revitalization, right? It can be difficult to feel organized when the rest of the world around us, including our own selves, feels disheveled. There is an energy of sweeping away the old, sweeping away the cobwebs that I'm feeling and tuning into. Now, some of you, it can be as simple as cleaning out an old, junk drawer, or, a closet space, donating. That's why people feel so good when they, have a garage sale, or they, put their stuff out there to give to a thrift store, or to those in need, to give the unused food to maybe a food pantry, things that you will not eat. When you give, it releases the energies of stagnancy, right? Especially when you don't use an item for a long time, when you get rid of newspapers and books and old clothes, when you clean your car, take care of your environment, take care of your body, when you shower, right? That releases that built up energy, and it's on an energetic level, right? Not just physical, which it may show up in a physical form, but when you take care of and when you wash things away or clean things or declutter, it can energetically clear the slate for brand new beginnings to come in. And so many people don't realize that it's important to maintain or stay up to date, not amount clutter. If you've ever watched hoarders, or if you are a hoarder yourself, that there may be a huge life lesson or life theme around letting go of attachments. Even though it may seem like it's just a physical thing, you can form attachments, emotional connections to things, right? And there is this energy of a cleanse, purging, letting go, releasing, whatever that may be for you. Now, we always have choices, right? We always have choice. We always have free will. Now, this card says, when you accept responsibility for your life and the choices you make right here in the right now, you begin to tap into the power of your own spirit. You'll be able to listen to and appreciate the intuitive wisdom that's inside you and apply it positively and constructively to your outer world. So choices is a really big thing. You can choose to stay where you're at, whether if you are in fear, if you are in block, if you are limiting yourself, you have that choice, right? Spirit cannot intervene. The angels cannot intervene with your free will. If you're choosing to stay where you're at, then that's your choice. But if you want to break free and you want additional help, then ask, right? You have that choice, and your spiritual team will help you the best they can to help you make the choices that are in your highest good. But most importantly, you have what you need inside to move forward. Next, we have synchronicity. As you notice the signs of synchronicity that the spirit world is sending you, people and situations aren't just appearing by coincidence. In reality, they're being guided to you. They're coming to help you. So when you ask, if you decide to choose to open up, to embracing the risk, to taking that risk, right? To releasing fear, pushing through the judgments, the expectations, the control, the manipulation, all of those lower frequencies. When you choose to push against them and to take a risk, follow your dreams, follow your true heart's north, ask your spiritual team for help, you're going to see the synchronicities playing out left and right. You're going to see that you are in perfect divine alignment with where you need to be and how to get there. And lastly, your final card here is new beginnings. Everything in life is constantly vibrating and moving. That is the only constant that there is, right? That things are constantly changing and shifting and evolving and continuously growing. Be aware that a new beginning is on the horizon. Have courage and faith, because right now, life is trying to nudge you forward and move you in a new direction. The fact that if you are watching this reading here and it is about, of course, blocks and limitations, you are finding solutions and ways to overcome those blocks and limitations. And this is just one of the many tools. There's no such thing as synchronicity when you are divinely guided on your journey. This is coming into your energetic field because you are here and you are synchronistically aligning up with the messages here in order for you to break free from some sort of limitation, block, or setback when it comes to you manifesting your purpose. So I would really love for you to take a dive into what we've talked about here, whether it is judgments, whether we can see things from a brand new perspective, a higher perspective, when we can take a look at our limiting beliefs, when you take a look at what your soul really and truly desires and wants, when we can practice that energy of gratitude, when you can take risks and push through any of those challenges or limiting beliefs that we've talked about, when you focus on the gain versus the loss, when you bring more pleasure into your world, more play, right? More of that childlike enthusiasm, you will remain on this path towards your highest abundance. When you can surrender even more in this moment, it'll set you up for this magical life, right? When you are able to take these steps, it can help you remove the blocks that you have when it comes to manifesting that relationship, when it comes to, whatever it is that you want in the physical. But when you realize that everything is going on externally based on, human experiences that you chose to have, but you can trust and you know that everything is divinely guided, but you have free will to speed things up, to prolong them, to learn lessons, depending on, however long you need to learn them or experience them or go through them. But you always have a choice to move in a new direction after you've already experienced what you've needed to learn, to grow, and to evolve. So I hope this resonates, beautiful souls. I hope it helps you overcome some of those blocks and limiting beliefs or limitations that have held you back in the past to truly feeling liberated on a soul level and even a physical level as well. If you resonate with this reading, please again, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share and do comment 3 things you're grateful for in the comment box below. I read each and every one of them and I will enter you into that free monthly reading giveaway. And please subscribe and hit that bell button if you are liking what you're hearing and part of this intuitive soul tribe. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lots of love.